We are recording. Hello
Hey,
and welcome to the first episode of the podcast. My camera doesn't sync with my face that well. This is actually a reshoot because we fucked
yeah,
it up the
reshoot.
first time.
Yeah, we really screwed it up the first
We had
time.
a whole hour and like
Oh yeah,
17 minutes down the drain because the audio got
oh
lost.
yeah.
So
The audio got tossed out. It was ripperoony.
it was a big rest in peace moment for the boys.
Rest in peace.
Uh,
This is a better method, I think.
Yeah, so if it sounds like we're not as into it, it's because we've already talked about everything on this list.
Well, we can talk about like what's going on now. I mean, shoot, I
But
don't
we still
know.
got to touch on the basic stuff, mainly about you introducing you, because
Yeah,
you're like kind of like the pseudo guest because it's the first episode, so no one knows who you
yeah,
are.
I'm super
No one knows who I am
intelligent.
either, but well, except for my friends who watch this and no one else. Oh, sad days. But
What? We could get an audience. What are you talking about?
we'll try. We'll try.
I'll
Um,
try.
so I'll introduce myself. I am Drew. I'm running this thing. This is my creation, and that's about it. Uh, Zach, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Zach. I bet you didn't know my name. But what? Yeah, so I'm Zach. Um, I don't know. I'm friends with Drew. Um, I like a variety of things: music, I guess making podcasts, making videos on my channel, which is completely dead, and I guess being a human. I don't know. Being a human kind of sucks, but whatever.
It does suck. It does suck. Uh, so you mentioned music. Would you
Yeah, yeah,
want
yeah.
to elaborate? Because that's like your shtick. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
your thing
my shtick.
that you do mainly, besides your YouTube.
Yeah, well, I think you asked me a question last time we tried doing this was how I got into music,
Yeah, yeah. How you got into it?
and I think that's an interesting story. So, it was like junior year of high school. Actually, no, it predates that because I used to be into like Froggy Fresh. It sounds so stupid. Like my sophomore year, I thought he was like super funny or whatever, and my dad thought he was super funny. So I was like, dude, I can make a like a meme beat or whatever on there. So I
Mm-hmm.
tried that. I actually downloaded the demo version of FL Studio 12, I think, and well, it didn't go very well because I sucked at it. So I just gave it up. And then it came to like into junior year, maybe like April or May. I used to watch a lot of YouTube. I used to watch a lot of Filthy Frank and iDubbbz and Max, that group, and I used to watch a bunch of other stuff. But there was one day where I got recommended a Joji song. It was called Joji Thong, and I was like blown away because it wasn't his singing for the most part. I mean, he sings all right on the track, but it's like the production. I was like, what is this type of music? And I never really listened to jazz music beforehand or anything of that sorts. So I was like, what is this type of music? So I went down this rabbit hole, especially downloading SoundCloud and stuff on this whole lo-fi um, type style of music, and I got heavily interested. And I eventually thought, well, I can make something like this. So it was like maybe like a couple last like the last week of school or a couple weeks before that. When I was like, I'm gonna try my shot. So I downloaded FL again, and what most people in the lo-fi community did at that time was they took samples and they flipped them. So I was like, okay, I'll try to do this. So I like cut up a sample. It's the song called "The Django" by Joe Pass, and I flipped it, and then I put a lo-fi beat on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. And I remember having to go on a trip to my grandmother's cabin at the time, and I was like showing my dad this, and my dad's like, "Whoa, this is actually kind of cool." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do more of this." So I eventually released an EP, I think by the end of summer or something like that. It was called like the Long Neck Tape because
I know that one.
a lot of people made fun of me for having a giraffe neck in high school. Um,
Giraffe neck.
they
That's
called
a
me
weird
giraffe.
a weird thing to like pick up on. Like, hey, that guy's
I was
neck is slightly long. Let's
they
make
called
that
me
his only
giraffe.
character trait.
Yeah, they called me giraffe. It was weird. Like
Scarring.
everyone did. That was so strange. But yeah, that first song, I remember I made the art for it too. It's called Reality, but yeah, shameless plug. Listen to it. But I've released more EPs ever since. I think it'd be interesting that we redelve into because I know we did it the last time on the podcast about Farmer Thanos.
Oh yeah, we touched on it in the dead recording. Please explain in detail, not too much
So
detail, the origins of the idea to
I
make
won't
the
I won't
album
go
Farmer
into
Thanos.
I won't go into like major detail. I met you in gym class, senior year. It was like the last semester. It was like a class I didn't even want to take, but I was forced to take it for to graduate. And we knew a mutual friend in that class, and we eventually met and we started talking and eventually became friends. And then I eventually told you about my music stuff, and you were like, "Wow, that's kind of cool." And then you like Summer Break or whatever that song, and I was like, "Huh, you know what? What?" Because on like couple days before I think the last day of school, I think it was like May 10th was the last day. It was like 2 days before that. We took like a Polaroid picture or whatever in the gym.
I still
And I
got
was,
that.
yeah, yeah, Mad Ball Champions.
I don't know where it is.
Uh,
I think it's at home.
but I was like, hey, why don't we go and see the new Avengers movie? And you were like, I'll check. You were like, I'll check. Was you at Walmart? You were working at
Yeah, I was
Walmart at the
working,
time.
and they were made me work like daily, so it was like up in the air.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah. So we went and saw that, and I was like, what if we made like a meme album? Because I've read a couple of the comics, and like Thanos becomes a farmer at the end of the Infinity War comic. I'm like, so we made this whole like meme sort of thing about it, and we recorded like you recorded some voiceovers and stuff, and there was this like whole like narrative of Thanos being like an incel and trying to go on Tinder dates, and he was just like lonely and depressed, ready to kill himself. Um, but yeah, yeah, I think that was great. That it was great that we made that, and it's still funny. I still find it funny today. And I don't think if we ever made that, we'd become really good friends, especially if we didn't go on if our times didn't line up to go to the Avengers showing.
I think also for one of the songs we sampled my voice as well as an old record for Sesame Street.
Yeah,
I got
Bob
like a
McGrath.
yeah, I got a hand me down set of records from a family member, and it had an old record for Sesame Street, and it had Bob McGrath. And I was like, dude, come over to my place and sample it. No, I said sample. You wanted to get my voice, and that came after. And I think
Yeah.
that was like the first time you ever
That was
came over,
that
if
was the
I'm thinking
yeah.
correctly.
It was June 25th, 2018.
What? How
Exactly.
do you know that?
I'm really good at dates. I know
Freaking
the exact
calendar man
date.
over here from
Yeah, dude,
Batman.
that's how I get all my back. But do you remember when we went and saw Infinity War and we went and got candy beforehand, and then we tried sneaking candy in, and like I couldn't fit it all in my pocket, so the guy stopped me at the door. He's like, "I'm gonna need you to go out and remove all your candy. I'm sorry, we don't allow outside food in here." And it was so dumb because he saw us hide it. And so I went outside, put it back in my Jeep, and then after the movie was done, it was all melted.
Yeah, that was probably the funniest thing ever because most people would get stopped, go back, put it in a better hiding spot, and then come back in, and you just set it back in the car. We're like, you didn't
And
bring
then,
anything? You could have like shoved a candy bar in your pocket, and they wouldn't have known. They're not gonna check twice. They're not gonna assume he's
yeah,
bringing more in. Like they don't care.
I know. Ben, like, I remember our mutual friend, he stuck like a Slim Jim down his pants or whatever that I bought. It was,
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it,
He
man.
put it like I think he put it in his pocket, then he put his shirt over it so you couldn't see it.
Yeah, like, I mean,
You
they
could see the
saw it while
ridge
you're
in his pants, but no one's gonna ask.
yeah. Oh, is that a boner? You have a boner?
Hey
Sorry, man.
bro, hey bro, nice cock. Gonna is that actually a Slim
Whoa,
Jim?
whoa. This this Thanos this Thanos this movie with Thanos in it is really getting me hard, bro.
I can't wait to see Infinity War, dude. I'm so hard.
Bro, and, what's the other one called? It was Infinity War, and I can't even remember the last one. Screw it. I didn't even like that one.
uh, Endgame. Endgame was the last one. I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine. It wrapped it up nicely. It was cool to see them all do the final battle at the end. I thought that was really cool. All the portals
Avengers
open and they went in and Avengers assemble.
Assemble.
That was really
Uh,
cool. I thought that was cool, but other than that, the movie was fine. It was kind of boring with the time travel stuff.
it was.
I wasn't
It
really
was.
entertained. I wanted the
I,
final battle, but the whole time. That was my
yeah,
like
yeah.
my brain thing.
Then
Like
like Thanos came back, and it's like, what? Like,
it's
okay,
past
cool.
Thanos too. Like who cares?
Yeah, like, yeah, exactly.
Like they should
But
have
yeah,
just they should have made it so like he didn't get murked by Thor day one. I feel
yeah,
like it
dude,
would have been
it was too busy farming, man.
yeah. He actually had a farm too. I like how
Yeah, it
our like little like meme was held like it was true because they actually pulled that from the comics. I didn't think they would because it's dumb. They made it cool, but it was dumb in the
yeah,
comics. Like in the comics, he has a straw hat and everything. I'm pretty sure. Like he goes all out. So I was like, oh well, they're not gonna do
yeah.
that, and they did it.
They did it,
And they
which
made
made
it
the
like
meme
cool. Like
better.
he's like has that scene where he's walking through the crops and he's like touching the fruit or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I know, and then we eventually I made some other projects. Made I think another like lo-fi type EP in 2018. And then of course recently I made Late for the Ball, which you helped on. We shot
elaborate
the
on that one because that's your most recent project, and it is, from what I can tell, the most ambitious. You
yeah, yeah,
sound
yeah, yeah.
pro with that nice word, ambitious.
I think eventually, I finally got down like producing since I've been doing it for like 2 or 3 years now.
Hmm.
Um, I think I haven't got a sound yet, but I think the beats are all right. I think it was mastered all right. I still need growth in mixing and mastering, but I know I use Gregorian chant samples. I use various stuff. It's very spooky and
Yeah,
um, weird. Like I don't know, but you guys helped it. We shot it in freaking like a park
yeah.
forest.
The album cover, yeah, that was
Yeah, the album cover. That was a weird experience because it was like really rainy and like muddy. It was like late September. I remember changing out in the bathroom and like this weird dude like at the park with his kid just like give me well not weird dude but he gave me this like look. He's like, why are you the heck are you in like a dress shirt and a bow tie?
yeah. It was weird.
But that's it.
Also, we didn't really have a plan as to what to shoot, so we just kind of did a bunch of random shots. And some of them are actually really funny. Uh, the one with Trenton behind.
The
I think
mystery
it was
man.
like standing behind you. Yeah, Mystery Man Trenton,
Hey, can
standing
you bleep
behind
out
you.
his can you bleep out his name?
That's too much work to scrub through this and bleep out his name, but he's the he's another person you'll see on this podcast. But
Yeah, yeah,
he was, I forgot exact. Yeah, he was like behind you or something, and you were like in the entrance of a trail,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he was
yeah.
behind you like holding something. I forgot what he was holding.
There's this one photo you
He dragged
took.
you at one point.
Yeah, there's this one photo you took though. It looked like I grabbed his penis.
Oh
It was
yeah,
such
you
a
were like leaning back like this, and your hand was right on his dick. It looked like you
yeah,
were like groping for it. But
yeah.
the final one was, it was all, sorry, it was all very
You were the one that grabbed me behind the
yeah,
tree.
my arm grabbing you
Trent,
here.
Trenton did all the Photoshop stuff. I went to the shop and he uh he did all the editing for that. But yeah, I know that was a good time.
Hmm.
But yeah, for 2020, I plan on maybe releasing like an album of beats or something later this year. So hopefully another project.
I have a question that we didn't talk about on the Deadcast. Uh, would you potentially want someone to rap over your beats? Not me, but someone.
Maybe, maybe,
Like if someone
maybe.
like someone saw this and goes, I'll link the EP. If someone saw this, checks it out and goes, "Hey, I want to rap over uh Bell." Would you allow that?
Hmm. I
And
guess
they said that
sure,
they would
but
credit you like produced by
yeah,
Zach.
but also producers get slated all the time because they allow like, okay, like here's a free beat, blah blah blah. But like I would if it got big, I mean obviously I would want residuals. I
Yeah,
mean I would
you would deserve it if you didn't get it.
I mean
Oh, and you
I'd
could
want
totally prove that it was yours. It's on your
yeah, yeah.
account. The dates show. You can. No one's going to delete it. They can't. You can only be the one who deletes it. So they'll see it's there first. So if any legal problems, boom, you'd win that argument real quick, and you'd get
Yeah,
money out
yeah,
of it. But the chances of
yeah, yeah.
anything getting
But,
big are
but the
point
percentage
zero
that
0.01.
producers get is like I don't even know. I don't
Yeah,
know if
but I would
it's
take
not a
literally anything. I'd take dinner scraps to be real. I don't give a crap. If it
I
got
would
ultra big and it was like the if I knew that that was the only thing that say I produced something and someone used it for a rap and they got really big, I would not, as long as I'm getting anything and I know I'm probably the chances of that happening again to me are slim. I would
well
I
think
don't care.
about
I'll take the dinner scraps. I don't care. I'll take anything. I don't
can
care.
you imagine I can't believe like Soldier Boy like when he produced that what's that song Tell Him or whatever.
I don't know anything about Soldier Boy except for the Superman song.
Yeah, yeah, that song you produced it with like stock plugins in FL Studio. So if and he's not even that great of a producer. I mean,
He's not good
he's
at
not a
anything.
he's not good at anything. So
In
if
my
I
opinion at
can
least.
obviously make a beat better than him. So I mean, obviously, I mean, there's maybe a chance. I don't know, probably not, but
Yeah, it's a weird system because if someone does take it and they don't even tell you, like they just rip it because they find it and they get big, it would be like a essentially you'd have to sue them or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
only way. Like
I
you're not gonna send them a SoundCloud message. Hey man, you stole my beat. They're gonna be like, screw
yeah,
you, dude.
bro. No,
They're
no,
not gonna
I'd be
listen to you.
more worried about something that doesn't blow up, but something that like maybe got a million, couple million plays. So like my beat on something that's a couple million plays, because there's obviously a ton of songs that get like a million or two plays on SoundCloud that you don't even know about the artist.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a lot. It'll be like like I'll get recommended weird crap because all I do on SoundCloud is look for weird crap. I don't. It's just good for that. And I'll get recommended a song with 1,000 plays, and it's better than a song with 1,000,000. My cameras just went dead.
have like a million or two plays on one of their songs and you've never heard of them before. And it's like, if they stole my beat, there was no way that I could even come across them. Like, I mean, unless someone sent it to me, but you know,
Yeah, it's kind of like you might never. Yeah, you would never come across it. Someone could have already stolen your beat for all you know. Like you just won't. You'll never know. You won't know until like 10 years from now, someone steals something that's just something from your like you might like 10 years from now. SoundCloud's like not even that big anymore. It wasn't really big to begin with, but it's not as big as it was.
it used to be big. It used to
Yeah,
be big in like 2012, 2013 era.
I'd say even like 2015, 2016, because that's when like the Tentacion guy, XXX, he got big and he's from SoundCloud. 6ix9ine got big, he's from SoundCloud. It's
Yeah.
it's more of a like I just think that by the time something builds enough views for you to find it, it would have been a long period of time. I feel
Yeah.
because not some a person who's good at rapping is not going to steal someone's beat. Like they have a reputation to uphold, so it's going to be more of a uh, like a small boy, but he gets big later or something. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But that's It would be a concern.
Uh, so segueing into the production of your, I hate how these cameras keep clipping. Discord's being a turd. Uh, Act two, you making that. You started making it in classes of like you were in college when you started like community. So how has college life affected what you want to do, like making music and YouTube and stuff?
I don't know. I used to work at the school and I used to make beats like during my shift. I'd have my earbuds in and like there would be like these people that come up to you and talk to you with your earbuds. Teachers that would like talk to you with your earbuds in and you'd be like this. Like I'd be like this. There's this one lady I called the nun because she got kicked out of teaching at Catholic school because they found her daughter to be a lesbian. And she's like this 60-year-old woman, glasses, ponytail, braces. She has like braces
That's
at
weird.
60, and she'll come up to you and be like, "Well, can you believe this like weather or something?" And I'll be like on the computer producing or whatever, and I'll be like, "Huh?"
Sorry, I was busy.
Or like there's this Indian woman. I'm not gonna say her name. Um, I can pronounce it, but I don't want to say it for obvious reasons. But she'll like come up and she'll be like, "Does the printer work or whatever or blah blah blah?" And I'd be like, "What the heck?" But I don't know. I've got a lot of free time though, so
Has
making beats.
just general college life been treating you well?
It's all right. It's okay. There's a lot of weird people at my school. We have two different experiences so far. I mean, I eventually have to transfer, but it's been great getting the 2 years, I guess, free.
Mm-hmm.
But the people there at the school are like some of the guys that work there are like borderline pedos. That's a huge accusation, but borderline creeps. Like I said, I used to work there at the school in IT, and my boss. I remember my boss. He called me into his office one time, and he was like, so they got a new. I set up computer labs and stuff. So you know that lab we like set up over there, and what's it called? Blah 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 blah. The testing labs here at school. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I remember setting them up. He's like, they got a new girl there that was your age. And honestly, if I was your age, I'd probably bang her.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, she's pretty cute. I mean, she's pretty cute. I mean, I'm obviously way too old for her, but
At least he
she's kind of,
acknowledged that.
I guess
If he
so. But
never said that, you'd get like, do I need to worry for her safety? Are you gonna attack this
no.
person?
He only said that. Only said that. I was because I said, "Well, isn't there an age gap?" Then he said it.
Oh, that's weird. I don't.
Yeah, yeah,
That's like a shady. It's dangerously close. It's like
yeah,
that
yeah,
meme
yeah.
with like gay or UI, and it's like right in the middle. It's like pedo UI. It's like right there. It's really
Yeah.
close. It's like,
Dude, he would tell me like, dude, the people you work with, like, not even the people like at school because there are weirdos at school, but the people that work at the school are even weirder. Like, I remember them telling me stories like about, um, I don't remember. Like, he used to work at this like telecom job, like for phones and crap, and he's like, well, I hosted this Christmas party one time. You know what the greatest thing about it was is that I got a strip tease right after the party that my girlfriend gave. I was like, "What? Why are you telling me?" Well, he told me it because like our other friend came up to my desk. He's because I was talking to this girl at the time, and we don't need to delve into that. But like he was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do about the situation?" I told Trenton said, and my he butted in the conversation. I was like, "What? What?" It's just so
that
creepy.
is
And then
weird.
I remember setting up at computers another time, and like them talking about strip clubs, and he was like, my other boss was like, yeah, I went to a strip club one time, and I saw a fight there, so I left, and I was like,
A fight at a strip club.
yeah, that's what I'm like.
Some guy
But
started throwing ones. Some other dude was like, I can beat that. Started throwing fives. And then the guy who was throwing
well,
ones looked at him, pulled out his stack of 20s. Then they started fighting
yeah,
each other because they did.
yeah,
Who's gonna white knight harder, the stripper?
yeah.
Ah, it's me. She
Uh,
loves me more because I give her more money. It's like simps,
yeah,
but for
that.
real
But
people,
God,
not e
but
girls.
even like, oh my God, I worked with a couple other weirdos too, and I've got one of them in my class right now. This fat gay guy,
Is he?
like
Wait, he's not
he's
weird because he's gay.
no, obviously not. I'm not
Yeah,
homophobic. Um,
he just
but he's
happens to be gay.
has to be gay, and like he would come every day and like drink like a 2 liter of like Pepsi, like in
Ugh.
all one sitting.
What?
He like
That's so unhealthy. Oh my god, he's gonna like
he'd chug it, he'd
that's
chug
he's
it in
gonna
like
get hurt from that.
chug it in one sitting, and then he'd tell me about his politics. Like this one time, he like talked about like at his old job, he like tried banging his. Everyone was telling their stories about their spouses, and he's like, yeah, like something about his husband or whatever. I think it was like him doing something with his husband. I don't know if it was sex or something else, and people were like uncomfortable about
Like you
it.
don't talk about that in a school environment
No, and he was like
or a
talking
work
about like
school, whatever.
he was talking about oh like minorities at the job also suffered from it too or blah blah blah, and I'm like, it's not the fact, it's just like I'm not interested in politics, so I'm like, dude, you're like being annoying. I'm trying to get my work done here at the IT
So
desk.
he's not like he's not helping in any way. He's
No.
taking that talk to a place it doesn't need to be, which is at work.
Oh my god. Now look, see, I dude, there's so many weird people. I also worked with this guy that looked like a pirate. That's really me. But
Why do you
he
look
was
like a
miss,
pirate?
he was missing a leg,
Oh my
and like
god,
every
no way.
yeah, he was missing a leg, so he'd like hobble around. And and I uh I remember I would I would try to help him, and he'd be like so upset about me helping him. Like opening the door, because the door to the cage went like this. Like you'd have to lift it up like that, and then
Hmm.
like put the thing on it, the latch on it to
Yeah.
hold it. And he's like he's like, oh, I got it. And he'd come every morning with like McDonald's, like two sausage biscuit burritos, and he would sit there and like look up PETA issues and like politic issues all the time, and he like your old grandpa like posted on Facebook, and I'm like we'd never talk though. I mean, we'd hardly ever talk.
I feel like
He's an all right guy. He's an all right guy.
you're
I like
that
the
job
best.
had a problem with its workers trying to bring politics into a work environment where it doesn't need to
Yeah,
be.
dude.
It's not a political work environment, it's an IT work environment. You fix
Yeah.
computers. We don't need to hear about
Well,
how
let me
you
tell you, because I was like the youngest guy there, so I'd like obviously I'm trying to be enthusiastic when I first got on to talk to people at the desk. Was other kids would come by, and then I'd do customer service, and I like tell people like, hey, how's it going? And there's this one day where this girl like this girl stopped by, or I said hi to, and then she like came back, and she's like started talking to me, and then she like asked for my number, and my boss was like sitting right next to me. I'm like, this is weird. So I gave her my number. Um, and actually, she goes to your school now. She transferred,
Oh, really?
but yeah, she's like this kind of bigger Asian woman. Um, not, I'm not trying to be mean, but that's not my intention. But she asked me. I remember I'm like, this woman's kind of weird because like I don't know. I mean, not the fact that she like asked for my number, but she's like, you want to like, my friends are like going like out to like the West Bottoms this weekend or something. I might have to hit you up or something. There's like drink and smoke there,
What's the
and I'm like,
West? What? That
the
sounds.
place.
It's like a fancy way. The West Bottom sounds like in like an old like Western show or like a
No,
Japanese
you've
like
been there.
samurai
You've been
flick, the
there
Red Light
downtown.
District. Yeah, I know, but the way they worded it sounds like they're going to a red light district or something.
Mhm.
Like it's full of prostitutes. Like,
So
no,
I'm like, heck no,
I've been there. It's
heck no.
industrial.
Yeah, it's industrial, but I'm like, heck no, like I'm not interested in that.
And it sounds
Obviously,
shady.
I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm not that type of person. So I delete her. She comes in the next work day that I'm working there on the day she has class, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to talk to her. Um, so she comes up and she's like gets really mad at me. She's like, you deleted me off of Snapchat, blah blah blah. And I just made up some story like, oh, you can just like take my phone number instead. My I deleted Snapchat for personal reasons. And I remember this one day she like hit me up and she's like I was like leaving at the same time too. She like drove all the way to the school and she's like offered me a donut or whatever. Like she bought like a donut. She's like, "Do you want a donut?" Like out of the blue, she just like showed up, and I'm like, she didn't even have class that day. She just like drove all the way, got a donut. And she's like,
Just to give you a donut?
"Yeah,
That's weird. I think
isn't
she
that
thought
weird?"
something was happening when there wasn't anything happening.
Yeah,
I think this was one sided. Like you're just like some dude working at thing. She's like, I'm a,
I just
I'm a
no no
snag.
no no no. No. She thought like me being nice, saying hi in crowd meant that like oh I was interested.
Yeah,
Like
even though it's your
I don't like
job to tell people hi and help them.
yeah I know like being I know, like, I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, she seemed like, I guess she was an all right person, very outgoing. I mean, she goes to your school now. She got like an apartment or something or whatever. She hit me up in like April or whatever, but I was like, nah, I think I'll pass.
Yeah, I would have passed too. That'd be kind of weird. I don't know. I'm not vibing with that.
She told me, oh God, there's so many stories, dude. I know it's weird. Um, Wait a
Well, after you
minute.
get
Well,
that sneeze out,
yeah,
we have a different dynamic. So, or a different environment. So, you go to a 2 year
yeah,
community
I
right now.
do.
You're going to transfer to a 4 year now, or
Yeah,
after this semester. So, right now I'm in a 4 year, and so I have a different set of experiences. And mine are the 4 year experiences. Anyone who goes to a 4 year right now and has been in a dorm understands what I'm talking about when I say weird crap. And it's not weird like oh super weird, but
well,
it's like something you don't expect to see or hear in that like the weird like you wake up in the morning on a Saturday at like 10 o'clock because you were up real late, and you look out in the hallway and there's puke on the ground. It's been there for 8 hours, and the whole hallway smells like a lunchroom that has also feces in it.
oh,
It's not good, and it's because people decide on Friday nights to get so drunk that they can't move. So there's just vomit
yeah.
everywhere. There was piss
Oh
on the
yeah.
floor at one point, and this is a carpeted inner room or inner. It's like like a diamond shape with the hallway or the stairways in the middle, so all the rooms were around that, and so it was like a ring of carpet that connected the rooms, and the the amount of times we'd find weird stains that weren't there before was too high for my comfortable
Yeah, yeah,
comfortability.
yeah.
It was
And
pretty gross.
you said he got an apartment, and I visited the apartment and stuff. But I think the most interesting story you ever told me was like the weird like cult church people that came onto campus.
Oh, I never told that. Okay,
No,
I
no,
didn't even say this on the one we lost. So
no, no. It just came to me.
yeah, so we live in a relatively southern state. I'm not gonna name it because of strangers on the internet,
It's
but
it's not southern, but
it's a
it's
borderline. So it's
all
the
you need to
we're
know is
we're
that it was
we're touching the Bible Belt. So we're like
yeah,
we're
yeah. All you
hitting
need
it.
to know is that it was a Confederate state during the Civil War.
I, yeah, I think I don't remember, but so which is irrelevant really to the situation, what side it was on. But what this means is it's in or next to, very close to the Bible Belt, and everyone who lives in America knows what the Bible Belt is. It's this line at the bottom of the United States where it's like super religious, and it's usually like in southern states, like really religious, very Christian, Catholic, like all that crap, all very confined into that one spot. It's also everywhere else, but it's very dense there in religiousness. So we're right on the cusp of that. Not too close, but close enough for you to feel it. And so our campus has like a bunch of church people that come around, and they'll do church things. They'll hand out Bibles. They'll look at Lily's Bibles. I have one because it's a little tiny book. I don't know. It's appealing to have one. Uh, just weird stuff like that. And so it was like, I think it was second semester of last year. So it was around this time actually.
I thought you said they did it twice. They did it also last semester.
They did it both semesters, but not the same way. The second semester, it was after Christmas. No, it was before Christmas. The one I'm thinking was before because it was they were doing Christmas time singing. So this is what has going on. So it was like dark out. It was probably 10 o'clock, maybe like 10:30, and at night. And I was going to go to the station, which is the spot where you can go get food. So I was going to go get a burger, and me and my friend left, and we were walking, and we see in the distance, like there's like this downhill on at that dorm. There was a downhill like sidewalk that went down, far out, and then up. So it went
Mm-hmm.
up back again, and we heard like chanting. We're like, "What the fuck is this?" And it gets louder and louder and louder, and then out of the blue, we see like lights in the distance, more and more lights. They get more and more. They're holding, so it's like a line of people, and they're holding like a line of like 30, 40 people. It's a lot of people. And they're holding those candles. You used to like people would get. I used to get them in church during Christmas, and they would have the candle in it and had the bowl so it catches the wax. And they were holding that, and it wasn't singing Christmas songs or like "Oh Holy Night." It was like chanting, and I don't know what this is from. If this is Christian, Catholic, Jewish, I have no idea what this is. But it was terrifying because it was dark enough so that you could. There's lamps and stuff like street lights, but you can't see. Imagine you're in a slightly dim environment and it's
Mm-hmm.
freezing cold. You're bundled up, and these people come walking chanting with candles from the distance, and you watch them come up, and they walk right past you, don't even look at you, don't acknowledge you, and they walk up to the front of your dorm to the door. They stand there for like 15 seconds still chanting. They turn around and walk the way they went, and then on your way back from getting food you see them at a different dorm doing the same thing. It is creepy, and we were like, what the heck? I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this before. Never seen this. It must be something that people do. Sorry, my audio is real quiet. It must be something that people do to like worship around that time, and it creeps me out. I don't know. It creeped me out. Not that it was religious, because the way they were doing it, just da da dee ba be ba. I think it was English. I wasn't
Yeah,
listening. I was looking at the spectacle. But yeah, that was
yeah,
probably
yeah.
one of the weirdest things. It wasn't the grossest thing, because the grossest thing I've seen, as I'm about to tell, we told it on the Lost podcast, the finger. If you remember the finger, Zach.
Oh yeah, the finger. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So early into, I think it was either week one or month one. I don't remember. But first year of college, I'm in a dorm. I'm getting used to the dorm experience. And just randomly, one day I was coming back from either food or a class, I don't remember, and probably food, but look at me. But I was coming back. Oh, I'm peeking now. Sorry, I'm messing with the audio, trying to get a sweet spot. I was coming back, and I was like, I heard a bunch of like people talking and standing around in the hallway, because we were up on the third floor, so I go up on the third floor, and everyone's kind of huddled around an area, and I see Ollie, my roommate, and he's like, "Hey, dude, you hear what happened?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Some dude lost a finger. I'm like, how the heck did that happen? He's like, dude, let me tell you. So he tells me the story. So apparently they were running. We are at this age. I think it's 18, 19. Yeah, 18, because that was last year. I was born in 2000, so my age follows the year. So 18. I was 18 at the time, and most people were around 18, 19. Uh, so they're playing tag inside at that age, being very immature, I guess, but you do you. Uh, and one of them goes inside, so they go into the door and they slam it behind them so they don't get caught. But the other dude decided to catch the door like this, and his finger got hit and crushed right here, this one. And it cut the tip of his finger off, about the entire nail. So the nail up was gone. It's like the beginning of the no more nail. And it was just sheared off. And of course he's freaking out. And he goes to the hospital. Apparently they couldn't reattach the finger because it was a blunt door. Like it was crushed off. It wasn't sheared like a knife. Like it was just ripped. So he's got this. He came back like a week or two later, but a month after that, a month or two, maybe even like 3 or 4 months, he had this thing on. It's like metal. Like if you sprain your finger, you put the little metal thing on like this. He had that on with like a bunch of bandages, and eventually took it off, and all his fingers were the same length now. Like all these three. Most people they aren't. Sometimes they are, but his weren't before. They were actually significantly longer. It was probably comparable to like that, and they were all level, like that. And he had no nail on his middle finger. And I'd see him in the hallway, and apparently he held no hard feeling. It's the guy who cut his finger off. Uh, he's like, "Oh no, it was an accident, no big deal." Trenton messaging us
Yeah.
in the Discord, but yeah, it
That's
was it was a
such a
gross. There's a picture floating
oh,
around.
that's gross. Now, let me tell you, the grossest thing I've seen it was when I was like 12. It wasn't even gross. It was well, I guess it was absurd. And I know you've told me stories about stuff you've seen that were just like freaking like crazy. But like I remember going to Aldi's and there being an ambulance like outside some old woman on the ground bleeding out from her head.
Dang.
She like hit her head. She had like a concussion. She was like bleeding out on the pavement. And I was like, my mom started panicking and she went up to the person and like asked the people around her like how this happened and stuff and to call an ambulance or whatever. I don't think the ambulance was there yet. But I was like, oh my God. And I remember my mom's like, okay, I guess there's nothing else we can do. We got to go into all of these now. So
Well,
we
yeah,
went
you
and picked up
can't.
her.
If someone already called the ambulance and you know that,
Yeah. So
you can't do anything else, it's good
so
not
then
to
we just
interfere and get in the
went
way.
and got all these, but that's the most obscene thing that I've seen. Um,
When I worked at Walmart and Lowe's, both times there's been ambulances out front because someone either slipped or had like a like heat stroke. Because I worked in the summer, so it'd be like, oh yeah, some teenager didn't drink enough water, and they passed out. So it wasn't anything like super serious, but it was that happens all the time. Like that stuff, not old ladies hitting their heads. That doesn't happen very frequently, or I guess it does, but it's not
yeah,
as
that
it's
she
more
was
serious.
she was seeping in blood. That it was just like
Yeah, that she
it's
probably hit her
like
head on the
crazy,
curb or
man.
something.
It was like the pavement. It was just
Dang,
like, oh my God.
sounds
But
terrible.
yeah, I don't know if I've really had. I know like obscene stories like you've had where you've had like um cold people
And they're not
and
a
like
cold. Oh, actually, I have had cold people this year.
yeah
Well, I don't know what they were. So it wasn't like the chanting people. I knew they were either Catholic, or Christian, or Jewish, and it was most likely not. Yeah, but they were not technically within a cult. But there was two people who went up to me with a billboard this year, last semester, while I was eating. Like I was eating Chick-fil-A in the student union, and I'm just sitting there eating, watching YouTube, maybe doing classes, and these people walk up to me and they go, "Excuse me," and I look up and there's two people, and I'm like, "Yes," and they're holding a billboard, and it's like incoherent speech about Jesus and something called the Mother God.
Oh
It
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
Mother of God. It was the
yeah.
Mother God.
We
It
memed
was
this. We memed this. Mother of God. You don't believe in the Mother of God?
the Mother God, yeah. Which I assumed that it was a miswrite, like they wrote Mother God meaning Mother of God, which I don't know if that's a thing, but it sounds like it would be.
Well, yeah, he's got a mom, but you know, God didn't impregnate him without doing the dirty.
Yeah, like Jesus's mom Mary. But
Yeah.
they start talking, and
What
at this
if?
point I'm zoning out because while they're talking to me, I'm like freaking out because there's people talking to me, and I can't handle that. And out of the freaking blue, I like tune in, and they're talking about some crazy thing I've never heard of. I'm like, what the heck? What are you talking about? The Mother God? What do you mean? and and I of course I after listening to their gibberish for about 5 minutes, I say, sorry, well, I'm a bit busy. I'll pass on this. And they go, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'll pass. I don't even
Yeah.
know what they were. I don't know if they were pitching something. Like I was tuning
I
out.
I could imagine. I could imagine how awkward and uncomfortable you felt.
I did because it would if it was just strangers asking me questions, I wouldn't have felt awkward at all. I would have answered them. But there's people trying to convert me to something I've never heard of. It was shady, really shady.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
but they started going down the line of people sitting at that long table, and so everyone they stopped at would push like shun them away. But there's this couple that they talked to, and the couple was trying to be nice and friendly, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll listen." And they started talking to him, and the couple's face was like, "Yeah," like they were buying it, like, "Oh yeah, cool." And then they're like, "Oh, you want this?" And they took the little paper they handed, and they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." The people walked away. They walked to another people, and the couple walked like past me because I'm sitting like right here, and they walk behind me, and I hear them say, "I'm just like, what the heck was that? Who are those people? What are they doing?" It was
uh,
so funny. I thought it was funny. It
I've
wasn't
got
really scary. It was just funny.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know I'm in something right now that's very uncomfortable. Where I think I don't know. There's something on my street that's been going on that's very weird at times that I've arrived. I think I don't want to say I have a stalker, but I've
It's
seen the
it's
same.
the it's the chick from your work.
No, 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 no,
She's
no,
coming for you.
no, 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 no. But the last couple days when I've been here and I went to the I went to the library like a couple days ago and I saw this car on the side parked and I'm like I didn't really think about it. I mean I'm leaving for the library. I got to go and print off like a book or something that I've got that I need for class.
Hmm.
And I look over there and it's like okay they're there and then I looked at the so that happened and then I went to school yesterday and I was coming back around maybe like 2 o'clock and right before I pull up like these people come in and they park on the side stop I go into my garage and I look out the back and I see them like
Sorry, Steam is opening for
revert
some reason. Just a second.
what I
Steam
see
is
them
opening. Okay, continue.
I see I see them reverse. I see them reverse like 3 or 4 houses back, and I'm like, that's weird.
That
And
is
then they
weird.
just like drive off, and then I like when my parents got home, I re-looked at the video on the Ring app, and I'm like, well, like the timing of them being there was like so strange. I don't even know how to even I don't even know how to even describe it.
Do you think they were casing the place to see if they should rob it?
I
People
don't
do
know if they
that.
were casing a place because at first I was like talking to my mom. I'm like, maybe they're just because they use my street for like the driver's test in Liberty.
That could be it. I went down your street doing my driver's test. So, and
Um,
I drove like a weirdo. I had to stop at weird points to pull over and stuff, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. It might be that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
They don't have anything
Or
on the
drive.
cars either.
No, they didn't have anything on the car though.
I didn't either when I took it. I didn't have it. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
in my
yeah.
car.
But or I thought like driver's ed. But the thing about the test where we live is that they only do the driver's test on Fridays,
Hmm.
and yesterday was Wednesday. But I don't know. I'm gonna see if they do the same thing again because it's just
If they don't, it was just a coincidence, and they were
It
just
was just
messing
a
around.
yeah, just coincidence. But I mean, I wasn't worried or paranoid about it. I just found it weird,
I would have found that weird. I would have been like, something's a little shady.
especially okay, especially them like seeing me drive into the parking lot. I was like, this is weird. So when I was driving in, I hit my clicker on my thing for my garage door to open at the same time. So I just drove in, hit the clicker, turned off my turned off my car keys. Of course, I don't want to die,
Yeah,
kill myself. But got out and then like saw them like on the video. Eventually, we looked at it, they backed like 3 or 4 houses down, and then they just like drove off really fast. And I was like, that's weird. But who knows, man? Who knows?
that's I would lock my doors. That's scary.
My doors are
It's
locked.
probably a coincidence though. It's probably just
Maybe
people
coincidence.
driving like like practicing, or they were backing up. Like I've done stuff like that with my friends or with my dad, helping them pull stuff around or move things. I had to move my car because he was in like I was in the way. Like stuff like that happens. It's probably that.
But there are people that don't even live on my street. So I don't know. It's just weird.
It's probably nothing. Most of
That's
the time it
probably
is. Uh, but it might have been someone who realized they did a wrong turn and then like backed up,
yeah. I
pulled out
understand that, but I
like
just
an
don't
idiot
understand.
instead of just going forward and
I
looping
mean,
around.
it is a driver thing, but I don't understand reversing 4 houses down. That's just kind of
That is weird.
that's kind of weird. But who knows? I'm gonna check today.
Maybe they were. I've done something like that though, like on accident when I first
I
started
understand if
driving.
it's a driver's ed or whatever, and I remember them asking me, "Okay, reverse, blah blah blah," and I remember doing that. So I mean, if it's that, I don't know, okay,
It's
because I know
probably
we
not
had.
that.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought it was. It was just like driver's ed or something. But who knows? So yeah, I know that's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, strange, strange coincidence. But yeah,
You can't do anything about it though. It's one of those things.
yeah.
If you you call the cops. Oh, I saw a strange car. I'm like, okay,
No,
and
no, anything
you have
about
to
it.
have like evidence that something's gonna happen. So you can't do anything. You just have to hope at that point, which I think you're fine.
Yeah,
If Zach dies, I'm keeping this episode up. It's evidence. It's evidence. If you get killed, I'll use it. We'll use this in the court of law against the people that you were clearly being stalked.
yeah,
If you get nenade,
for sure, for sure,
if you
for sure.
suicide yourself,
Suicide
you
myself,
get
Kurt Cobain.
suicided. It's the Clintons. Do you have something against the Clintons?
Yeah, I do.
Oh
Everything
no,
is against them.
they're coming after you, dude. They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you.
They're gonna get me, bro. They're gonna Jeffrey Epstein me.
Oh no, not Epstein. Don't Epstein me.
Not epic, bro. But yeah,
So not epic. So not cool.
yeah, not epic. Yeah, politics, bro. I don't really I don't really care. I was
Let's not
can I?
transfer it to politics because
I'm
neither
not
of
gonna
us are qualified enough to have any opinion on this matter.
I'm not gonna transfer to politics. But what do you think about I don't know. What do you think about CBT?
CBT?
Yeah.
Cock and ball torture.
Do you think there's any room for that to be revitalized?
No, it's dead forever.
No?
No
Is
CBT.
it is it really that dead of a meme? Not
Yes,
dead.
it's dead forever. Dead
You
for the rest of time.
no nation could reuse that and do that to torture someone?
No. Because speaking of torturing, did you see that video of the guy who said waterboarding isn't torture?
No, I haven't.
There's a guy who said, sorry, my camera might get covered in a second. I'm opening my files. Uh, yeah, there was a dude on some. Ooh, yeah, there it is. There was a dude on some. I forgot what it was. It was like a talk show, but it was on YouTube, and he was talking about how waterboarding doesn't qualify as torture. And I'm like, well, what qualifies as torture? Like, what is the torture rules? Like, what
Torture is pain, I mean,
is it?
essentially.
Is it? Does it? but there's mental torture. There's like
Yeah, yeah,
psychological.
yeah.
So
Hey,
when you don't feel pain when you're waterboarded. Apparently, you just feel panic and suffocating. I don't know. That's a weird topic that we
if you do it
also aren't
right,
qualified in. I was
if you
just
do it
opening up
right.
our topics real quick because we were
Yeah,
starting to linger, and we got a bit
but
of time left. But what I
how
think,
much time?
hmm?
How much time?
Oh, we can go. I just don't want to last too long.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I'd say this is about the last topic. Since this is a new podcast and you are my one of my co-hosts and I am the host, I think it's good we share what we like about podcasts and maybe what we're listening to currently.
I like
Besides this one, of course.
podcasts that obviously like tell a story and stuff. I like when people like sit down and just like tell stories of stuff that's happened to them and crap. Um, I watch a lot of like comedians and stuff, and I also watch. I watch. I watch this one podcast called Podcast But Outside, and it's kind of cool concept where they go outside to random places and they have a podcast and get random people on, and they pay them $1. I like it, but I don't know. What are you into? Because you have a drive to get to school, so I know you listen to a lot of them.
Sorry, I did something in my videos getting all weird. Yeah, I listened to quite a bit actually. I listened to like 3 mainly. Um I like the official podcast. I think it's pretty cool. It's the one run by uh Critical, Moist Critical.
Vice
Uh
critical.
yeah, Moist Critical. That's his Twitch name. Uh I also listen to Joe Rogan podcast. I know he's a controversial figure, but I like listening to him. His stuff. He had Robert Downey Jr. on recently.
Oh, the guy that plays
Iron Man,
no, the
Sherlock
guy that
Holmes,
no, the guy that plays
Doctor
Ant Man.
Doolittle.
Wait, I thought Doctor Doolittle was black.
They're making a new one, and it's Robert Downey Jr.
Well, that's a cheap version. I like my Doctor Doolittle black.
Eddie Murphy.
I like Eddie. Yeah,
Eddie Murphy was great. I liked his Doctor Doolittle. I saw it like once when I was little, but I enjoyed it.
yeah. I
I
don't know
also
why.
I uh I mix that movie up with like some other cheap Disney movie that came out that also has
Yeah.
animals in it in my brain, and I have to stop myself before I speak if I'm speaking about one or the other, which I'm never speaking about the cheap Disney movie because it's why would I do that? But I don't know. I think it's funny that they're revitalizing that franchise. I don't know.
Like
Did
anyone?
anyone ask for that? No.
No,
I
no one
want
asked
more
for it.
Doctor Doolittle. Ooh. I need to expand the universe. Like no one
The
cares.
cinematic Doctor Doolittle
It's
universe.
for kids. I get it, but I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
like a kid isn't gonna give a crap. Like I don't think they care about animals in the same way. Like people are quite disconnected now. Very connected to their
Yeah,
phone, but
yeah.
disconnected to the world. And I think the interest in animals has gone down a net loss. So it's probably not going to do
Not
as
with this
good.
new Australian bushfire thing where all the koalas are
Oh
dying.
yeah, dude.
That's
Can we
horrible.
touch up on that real quick? Like, that's a bro moment. Like top tier.
That's, that's a bro. Well, they can't do anything about it. That's how it works. The forests burn. I mean, they have a dry season.
It's so well. It's just so intense. It's so massive that water won't. It's like those helicopters, who
Australia is screwed, bro.
like not the whole country, a
Coral reefs,
hard
bro.
portion.
Coral reefs are bleaching.
Yeah, well, of course. It's Australia is going to be permanently impacted by this to a point that it will be in history books about how devastating this fire was.
I think I think they can eventually regrow from it though.
Yeah, of course, but it takes a long time to do that. There was a eruption in some forest I think it was America. I don't know. and it's
Oh yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
regrowing.
It's
Do you hear about
Seattle.
that? It's still
Seattle.
regrowing.
Mount St. Helens.
Is that it?
It's been 40 something
It's
years.
still charred and black everywhere. It's only now
Yeah,
just
yeah,
starting to grow back. So it'll take a long time, but it will happen. Life finds a way. But it's devastating to a point that's like it's gonna permanently damage their ecosystem for almost an irreversible effect. Like they have a lot of, I believe they have a lot of endangered species, and
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
gonna help them, not at all.
No, no, no. But I think koalas will eventually find a way. The potoroo might find a way.
There's just so
Kangaroos,
much of
obviously.
those that I feel like they'll be fine. Like they have kangaroos everywhere. They're like deer there,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I mean, obviously, not
it's
all the
still
forests, bro.
it's gonna have an
I mean,
impact.
no, yeah, obviously, but not all the forests. You got to think about. I don't know how many forests they have in Eastern Australia by Perth and that stuff,
I don't
but
even know where it is. I was
it's
under
a
the
weird
impression it
guy.
was the
God,
entire
can we
part.
talk about how weird that country is? Like, most of it is like the only parts there's really
Unlivable.
livable inhabitants is
The
like
coasts.
the coast,
It's
and
literally
they
a
have like
ring of life, and then it's just the
they literally
wildlife in the center.
from Sydney and the deserts, like there's like a wall built up that separates them, so no wildlife will come in, like dingoes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's because those animals can like. I'm pretty sure dingoes like can. They're like coyotes. Like they just
Yeah, yeah,
they'll mess with stuff. But I
it's
guess right
crazy.
now it's kind of like with this current
Yeah,
fire and the killing, mass murdering, not murdering, but the mass genocide of these animals is. I feel like they're gonna like not. They're gonna be more accepting. I feel like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you can't
And then
be
you,
like, oh, get that dog out of here. Like, bruh, his home is destroyed. I feel like we should give him a hard pass. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's
I'd like to
it's.
go to Australia though. I think it'd be interesting.
Did you see all the American firefighters being sent over?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was really hot and cute.
Hot and
What?
cute.
No, no, no. I'm joking.
Well,
Uh, it's great.
well,
I'm glad.
I hope Australia recovers because that's like
I was actually in
their
a.
whole shtick is their wildlife, and if it's gone, that's
I
just
was actually
millions
in
of
a.
animals dead.
I was actually in a forest fire.
You were in a forest fire?
Yeah, Colorado of 2012 in Colorado Springs.
That's
I went up.
scary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not literally, but we went on like this train ride, and we were driving back, and we were hearing people on the train. Well, Colorado Springs, uh, there's a fire going on, and I'm like, and we're like, whoa, whoa, that's where we're like staying at. So we get off the train, we go back to Colorado Springs, and there's the whole mountain overlooking Colorado Springs or some of the surrounding mountains are on fire. So it's like, what do we do? So we went into the hotel and we went and tried to sleep and do that sort of thing. But there's this wedding that's going on at the same time as in the hotel because these people had a wedding, and this guy literally drunk, half drunk, comes and knocks on our door at 3 o'clock. He's like, the fires are spreading, we have to evacuate. So they had to evacuate. And then also the hotel members, the people that were running the hotel, or the employees, they were like, we have to evacuate. So we leave in our small Honda Accord to like a shelter, and we're like, oh, we don't want to sleep in here. So we slept in the parking lot of the shelter in our car, and it was the most uncomfortable night ever.
That
Like
sounds
I don't.
terrible.
It was terrible. And then I woke up. We were driving almost to Denver at the time. We were like halfway to Denver or something, and I was just like what the heck just happened? I don't know. It's weird, bro.
Sorry,
Luckily, I wasn't hurt though.
keep getting notifications from my gov class, and I keep thinking, oh no, they're doing something that I'm missing, but he's just changing schedules. But yeah, that sounds scary. I've never seen a forest fire in person. I've seen controlled burns though,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
Forest fires. That's crazy. Some idiot like how that one started was like some idiot smoking a dart and he like tossed it out into the forest and it just like
it's probably
erupted.
it's probably more often Like when you think about it, there's probably a lot of fires that are devastating like that are caused by some idiot with a cigarette.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's a forest fires are turd because they just ruin
Smoke the Bear comes
the
out,
ecosystem.
torched.
Smokey the Bear's pissed.
Can we get Smokey the Bear to smoke a cigarette? Can he? Can
Probably not. I
can
would argue he's
Smokey
probably not going to do that.
give him a cigar?
Uh, probably not. Well, it's I'd say it's about time we wrap up.
Yeah.
Uh, we covered everything we did in the one that is lost to space and time. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Uh huh. Sounded so
Uh
sure of
huh.
yourself. Anything
Well, thanks for watching.
you wanna plug
Final
your
word.
hmm?
Yeah, yeah.
Plug
The
your
channel's called
yeah.
yeah, the channel's called Zach Directs, and then the SoundCloud's called Zach, but you might have to have a link to find that. So yeah, I hope to
I'll
re-upload
link them
some
both.
stuff on the channel, get some beats up on the SoundCloud and stuff and that sort of thing. And hopefully I obviously come back for the next podcast. I think I've heard who the next guest is, and I've got some interesting I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. I'll plug my Twitter in the description.
Yeah.
Sorry, it froze. I'll plug my Twitter in the description, and that's all I got to plug, except for this. But you're watching it, so
Yeah.
sweet. Uh,
Hit that yeet.
hit
So
that
I
yeet.
we'll see you later.
Wait, wave. Smile and wave, boys. Smile
Bye.
and wave.
Bye. Here's my card.
Bye.
This is my last thing I'm gonna see.
Bye.